Good gosh, it's so cold. Oh god.
understandable, plays well, is very good, but isn't quite.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good things. So I guess this hit that mark.
It did. I will say this is a newer card, and so I think had this been printed when, cards like Briadak and some of the older cards were printed, it would definitely have maybe gotten hit in some capacity. But with where Yu-Gi-Oh! Was at around the time Coral Dragon was printed, it wasn't the highest rarity in the booster set that it was initially printed in, so there was a lot of hype and excitement surrounding this card, because on the surface it just reads like a really strong, efficient card, like you said. But the decks that could play it, played it. Some decks, even nowadays, will take advantage of it if the opportunity presents itself. But yeah, there's nothing really egregious going on here. It's honestly, a lot of people think this is a really well-designed card.
I gotta say, this has some of the best art I've seen on a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card.
It's really cool. Yeah.
And comparing it, I'm sure it's similar in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where a lot of people loved it, art from the first couple sets because it's so iconic and
sure.
Magic's like that too. I have pieces on my wall, right there, Shiva Dragon and Monk Sapphire and stuff. That being said, I think the art from sets is objectively a little higher quality, and this certainly looks very good.
Well, it was very much low polygon, almost AI-looking art for the first few sets of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah,
It wasn't the highest fidelity. All right, only a few left, and boy, are we saving some of the best for last. Let's see what you think about this guy.
Chaos Ruler, the chaotic magical dragon. I hope it's good. 8 stars.
What the heck? Why would you summon you?
Monster. If this card is synchro summoned, you excavate the top 5 cards of your deck. What does excavate mean? Is
excavate?
That mill?
Not mill. It means to you essentially reveal the top 5 of your deck.
You can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can add 1 excavated Light Dark monster to your hand. Also send the remaining cards of your deck. Okay, so yeah, that's straight up like the Magic.
Wacky.
Top 5 or reveal your top 5.
Yep.
And then put 1 in the hand, the rest on the bottom. 1 light or dark monster, 1 total. And you banish 1 light and 1 dark monster from your hand and or graveyard, except this card. Special summon this card from your graveyard, then banish it when it leaves the field. Each effect once per turn. It's at 3,020. So you summon this, you immediately get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck and get a light or dark monster to your hand, which I imagine if you build your deck with this in mind, you'll hit most of the time. And then the first time this dies, you then get to banish a light and a dark monster, hopefully from your graveyard, not your hand, because you want to have gotten the use out of them, and then you just get to special summon this, and then immediately draw again. And this card looks really out of control. Am I missing something? I do think this got banned. This looks crazy. You play this, it immediately gives you a card back, most of the time. Obviously you can this, while stocking your graveyard, and then when it comes back a second time, it does the same thing again, though it just doesn't come back a third time. You just get other Chaos Rulers. They really stack well.
And you would be correct. Chaos Ruler is absolutely fucking crazy. For all the reasons you said, I don't really think I have much to add. I think a couple things. So it's interesting because, you say in Magic, how there's a lot of effects that you look at the top whatever and then add one of those cards. Yu-Gi-Oh! This may surprise you. Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't have a lot of those types of effects. I think it's because those effects are almost just really too powerful for our game, so they're not as common as they might be in Magic. And so when people read this card first, this is actually a relatively new card. This card came out within the past, I want to say, 5 years. People read this card and they were just losing their mind because it's almost exactly how you were just digesting it. You're just am I missing something? Where's the downside? There is no downside to this card. It's all gas. It's crazy. There are some other things too where you can resurrect itself, but then it vanishes when it leaves the field. We haven't gotten to it yet, but there are ways to circumvent that. So you could potentially bring it back a third time. So we'll get to those. We'll get to those mechanics later on. I don't want to throw too much at you. And light and dark synergy, we call this chaos, harkening back to some of the first. If you remember Chaos Emperor Dragon, speaking of broken cards, we call these types of cards chaos cards. Hence why it's Chaos Ruler. Light and dark are probably the 2 best supported attributes in the entire game throughout the game's history. So just to not only get the best card from the top 5 when it's summoned, but then you're probably sending the best 4 you're sending 4 cards to the graveyard on top of it, which is also just a plus because again, graveyard second hand, all that. It can resurrect itself. It's 3,000. There's just so much upside to this card that it's absurd. And yeah, it did get banned. It was just it was really really good.
Well, I mean, the reason you don't see those effects much in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is because of the mana system, or I guess lack thereof.
Right.
In Magic, you pay mana, you pay resources to get more card selection. That's a common thing you do, but you have to balance. You spend too many resources on that, you're not using them on, like, advancing your board. Yu-Gi-Oh! You just don't have to pay that. So any card, like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card that just said, look at your top two
Whack.
cards, put one in your hand, the other in the graveyard, a spell, that would be unbelievably broken.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's why
Yu-Gi-Oh's the game you get to do that. That's the best part. Alright, only a few left. Let's keep on with the crazy payoff synchros here. Tell me what you think about this one.
Ruddy Rose Dragon is 9 stars, or is that 10? That's 10 stars.
10 stars.
That's a lot of stars to count. It's a dragon synchro effect. It requires a tuner and a non-tuner. It's a 3200, 2400. And if this card is synchro summoned, you can banish all cards from the graveyards. Then, if this card was synchro summoned using Black Rose Dragon or a plant synchro monster as material, you can destroy all other cards in the field. So this one actually blows up everything else.
Correct.
When your opponent activates a card or effect that would destroy a card, quick effect, you contribute this card, negate the activation, then you can special summon a Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck or graveyard, which
Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh!
could also blow up the field if it wanted to, right?
No, so Black Rose Dragon, to refresh your memory, does have to be synchro summoned. And yet, so you are, this is again getting into the weeds of it, but you are allowed, in certain cases, like with Ruddy Rose Dragon, you are allowed to special summon monsters from your extra deck. Granted, the conditions are there, but there's some stipulations. So they're not considered as a synchro summon, so any sort of on-synchro summon effects won't trigger, like with the original Black Rose Dragon. Also, if that summoned Black Rose Dragon were to die or leave the field in any way, go to the graveyard, you're not allowed to resurrect it because it wasn't properly synchro summoned in the first place. So it's almost like this temporary, you get the body, but then if the body leaves the field, there's really no way to get it back. And that's just like a mechanics thing.
Yeah, but looking at Black Rose Dragon, yeah, you could still use the banish monster from your graveyard.
Why does this keep happening?
You could still use that effect.
And it's a lot more likely at the point where you're using this that you've got plant monsters in your deck, I would imagine. Because
yes, yeah. Even though Ruddy Rose, right? Even though Ruddy Rose is a dragon, this whole archetype that Black Rose and Ruddy Rose are from, it is predominantly a plant-based archetype, and this is sort of like the boss monster they all funnel into. Just for some context there.
So 10 stars is a lot. That's not trivial at all. All graveyards and destroying all other cards on the field. Then when your opponent activates a card or effect that would destroy one of your cards, you can stop it. Though you do turn this into a Black Rose, which is like a slight downgrade. I mean, how big is Black Rose again? It's
2400.
2400? Okay, yeah, I mean, it's like...
Still respectable, for context. Yeah. 2400 is still a pretty...
Alright, I'm actually going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say this did not get banned. This looks like the kind of big game-ending effect that you kind of want to have access to if this is the kind of mechanics you're using. It looks expensive enough that maybe this could actually fly. So, I'm going to guess it didn't get banned.
Correct! Ruddy Rose Dragon has never been anywhere on the ban list. It's just sort of a niche card. I wouldn't say this card's bad by any means. I would say people were playing this mainly just for the banish all cards from the graveyard effect. I would say very rarely were people actually using this for the other effect, part of the effect, where they were synchro something using Black Rose Dragon to nuke the field. It was just a level 10 synchro that, during the time where this card was around, there was a lot of decks that did play from the graveyard, and so having a way in your
Are they playing Tier Elements or something?
Banish the entire graveyard meant that you were probably going to be in a very commanding position. And so this was an option that some people just chose to incorporate in their extra deck. Just a solid card. I wouldn't say this card's broken by any means. I wanted to see just throwing a big flashy card if you would think that, oh, this is crazy, but you did not take the bait. Not this time. Not this time. But still have a few left, and we're going to keep throwing the big heavy hitters at you. So let's see what you think about this card.
Psychic End Punishers. This is for is that 11 stars now?
Yeah, it's 11.
It's 11 stars. It's a Psychic Synchro effect. I can't even tell what's going on in the art. It's like 3,500, 500 massive. While your life points are less than equal to your opponent's, this Synchro Summon card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life points, and target one monster you control and one card your opponent controls, banish them. At the start of the battle phase, you can make this card gain attack equal to the difference between your life points and your opponent's. Wow, okay. So, this has protection mode, and It's not a quick effect, though, right? The once per turn paying 1,000 life.
Correct.
So,
that is an ignition effect, a sorcery speed effect.
right, so
Yes.
you can't, like, use this to make this untargetable, like, in response to your stuff, but your opponent's things. But you can just get this out, immediately pay 1,000 life, and trade your worst monster for whatever their best card is, banish them both. If you target your monster and their card, and then something happens to your monster, their card still just gets banished, right?
Correct, unless that card would be negating this effect. Yeah,
Right,
for the most part, it would still vanish on resolution.
I can't imagine that happens like a ton, but maybe if there was like a quick effect that let you sacrifice tribute one of your own monsters for an effect, you could like target both, then sack your own thing. But, and then also, when they have more life, this also hits for more. So this could, if you're a low life, this could hit for like 5,000 or something.
Potentially.
Yeah, I once again think this is just huge and flashy, but not too good, though it does seem strong once you get it into play. 11 is just a lot. So, I'm going to guess this didn't get banned.
Well, I did mention that every card I'm showing you, that play under the assumption that it is not difficult to get into these cards. So I'm not sure if that sways your answer at all. So, just want to remind you.
Yeah, I mean...
Melodious.
Even if... I guess a
Pendulum archetype.
Is like much bigger, is pretty big, and then lets you sack your own things to kill their stuff. I don't know. I guess I'm still going to guess it's banned, but obviously there's some powerful stuff going.
Yeah, sure. Final answer.
Yeah.
And you are correct. You did not take the bait once again. So, Psychic End Punisher, incredible card in the decks that can play it. One of the main decks that could actually play this card, the main gimmick of that archetype is a lot of their effects require you to pay life points. So, your life points are almost always going to be lower than your opponent's for the most part. And this was sort of their big payoff because they could summon Psychic End Punisher on like the very first turn. It would have 8,000 attack because they can pay their life points all the way down to such a point where the discrepancy is going to be so big that this guy is massive. It's unaffected by your opponent's card effects, which is not just like targeting, that means it can't be destroyed, that means it can't be banished, just anything that is an activated effect does not affect Psychic End Punisher, which is a wide spectrum of different things. And so it has a lot of built-in protection, has a presumably large attack stat, even though 3,500 by itself is already really big, and is able to just take out your opponent's stuff every turn by paying 1,000 if you so wish. Really insane card, but it might come as a surprise to you that there are just enough cards in the game that can take this card out, that it's not really too problematic. I would say that there's only a handful of decks that can really take full advantage of a card like this. Don't get me wrong, it's insanely powerful. It can play it, but in terms of, like, is it the best thing? Maybe. It is really just kind of contextual to it. But there are plenty of checks in the that can really check Psychic End Punisher, so it's not as bad as it may seem. And last but not least, I think this one last. This one should be fun. Let's see what you think about this one.
This is for 10 stars. The Warrior Secret Effect, 3,020. Per turn, target part of the destroy. Now, one spell face up on the field, part of or effect that you destroy that card. They're on the per turn. See, they need so basically once per turn. This to just negate harder effect. And once per standby post, target one level 9 or lower 2. Then return this card to the extra deck, and then special summon, not synchros. So,
well, it's not your graveyard anyway, so yeah. So yeah. It doesn't have to be a synchro monster, it could be any monster, but yes, if you pick a synchro monster,
right.
It would not be synchro.
That's funny that that's just summon right from the graveyard. Turns this card to the extra deck, and then special summon.
Yeah, figure itself down.
Yeah, that's so, it's like 3,000, once per turn destroys a card, and it's 8 harder effect, and that's once.
So,
yikes.
The second effect is one small face above it. You're only allowed to do that while, like, if you summon where the third, you can only use that effect once. It has the, you can only use that effect once per turn. In the hypothetical, let's say you summon multiple copies of Baron, or you summon a Baron in something, and maybe there's a way to direct that Baron, and then she can't use that. So even though it says one small face up on the field, I think they're trying to check multiple played eventually, or like a
ridiculous.
welcome you.
Okay. Well, I understand. Like, 70% really heavily involved, but I do it.
You've also seen older Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards begin that clause in there, so they might be, sort of, nodding their eyes possibly.
No, it's really it's tough for that line of text. Well, Smart does. So I'm leaning towards it. It's just straight up unconditionally destroy something and just target, just counter something. Destroys that effect. Get off the card, stops the card, and whatever effect destroys it. And also just return it. It's a level more just feels like this doesn't too well. Like it feels like break something, counter something. All those combined is just like they play a Baron. Just the best thing that you can have. And the first thing we do that's good is so it seems like look at some of the other cards that are perfect, such as Punisher or like somebody with Dragon Ball. This kind of does look at them. So I don't know.
Final answer.
I hope I don't get punished by getting lava golemed or something.
Actually, recently just got hit with this, and rightfully so. One thing that's interesting, and this is not necessarily something that level 10 synchros that didn't just require 2 monsters were actually quite rare, if almost non-existent at this time. Going into like a level 8 monster, for instance, like Stardust Dragon, was quite common. That was like sort of common. Start getting to level 9, like Trishula, it usually required 3 monsters total in order to get to that. And if there was something that was a level 10 synchro, it usually required materials or required you to jump through all these different things in order to summon it. And so many times when you look at it, it's like, damn, I really wish I had a good level 10 synchro like that. And Baron de Fleur was the answer to everyone's prayers, because this is arguably the most broken synchro monster. For all the reasons that you have, I think the fact that immediately it can destroy something when it hits the field, the fact that it protects itself by not only being able to negate anything that would threaten it, but anything else on the rest of your board. Going turn 1 Baron de Fleur in a myriad of different decks, this was like the thing to be doing, because this paired with other cards that had similar effects, make it really difficult for your opponent in the game, because now all of a sudden you have 2 types of cards that are playing 2 opponent's cards for their turn. And so it was incredibly impressive. And I think what really hurt Baron is the fact that it was so generic, because every deck that had synchro summons or had a synchro monster was able to use this card. And so every deck sort of became let's funnel the Baron de Fleur and whatever else our deck was, right? And so sort of homogenized a lot of these like combo deck and boards, and just made it not really fun and interesting to play against. And so as a result, they finally banned Baron de Fleur, and I think a lot of people are happy about that, because this card can be incredibly frustrating. It is just, it's really good, and people love playing with it. Love playing with it when it's on your side of the field, and you hate it when you're playing against it.
Yeah, seriously, people love this card. This card is more on the side. Yeah. It's not even a line. There's one back. People like.
Well, that's during the next standby, so you'd have to wait an entire turn to actually get the back. Sure. So the standby phase is right after the phase, so you presumably will do something there.
I see. So this, but this will survive. That's kind of kill it. So most of them pretty good shot.
Right. For the most part, I would say that's the case. And honestly, the third effect of Baron is probably the least. It's not like it was not good, but I think for the most part, precisely. Yeah, and there's plenty of cards that synergize where they say instead of saying turn synchro summon, they might say turn special summon, right? So that means you can trigger that and that's summoned off the character. So there was plenty of just good things you could do with it, and especially after you already used the negation, maybe you don't want to keep Baron around, right? So you want to tag it out for something better in the graveyard too. Maybe even re-synchro summon out here so that you could keep that negation together. It's just, it's an incredible thing. It's something that people, like I said, they love it and they hate it. That's fun. Yeah. I think it did pretty well.
I think you said about homogenizing it. That's something. Yeah, certainly see about this.
I would say there are other synchros that I need to show you. One is the symbol I showed you for the generic synchros. Some of the ones that might require specific attributes, like big or dark, or some that require specific types, like greater dragon, whatever. Some of those may have more powerful effects, but they have much higher stimulations because not everyone on them, right? So that helps you with stacks. But Baron E Junior is just every deck. It was insane. Still is. This was basically in like every deck. So just that. So I think about synchro something.
Oh, that's cool. I like. I try to find a sacrifice fodder. I don't know how you guys to do that. Sure, I find that kind of resource utilization really fun. And I don't know, I like really big monsters, and I think that could be pretty fun. Well, there's a cycle of magic called Wishes, where I think I might have mentioned in a previous video, that basically let you pull a card out of your extra deck, and those are also fun too, because they let you get access to all these cards that you get access to, and like a toolbox effect. Synchro summoning definitely has aspects of that. So yeah, these have been very cool. I do, like you said, tend to like the ones that require specific types more, because I think those are just tell a better story and are more fun. So sure, those do seem like a cool way to go down. But looking at a lot of these cards, like Formula Synchron, I bet I would be playing with that, and Cold Dragon looks like a fun one too, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's like you said, with like trying to get as much value out of all your cards as possible, right? Token cards in our game have levels as well. So like if you have any token producing cards, you can sync off those to actually get like a real threat out of the token. Because maybe the token is just a 0/0, but it's a level 3, so maybe you can do that and, you know what, a tuner and make something bigger out of it, right? Or you just have cards that get, you know, cheap monsters out onto the field, and you're able to convert them into something like this. And people really love this mechanic. This is, you know, in a lot of ways better fusion summoning, because it doesn't require you to have this specific card to summon the big payoff out of your extra deck. It's like, okay, I have the tuners and the non-tuners, and there's plenty of good, powerful tuner monsters in the game that, over time, were just good cards in general that also just happen to be tuners, and people would just play those, and it's like, oh, cool, if I need to have this utility of this card being a tuner, I don't have to play, you know, a Dark Resonator type card, because that's not very good, in order to access this entire mechanic out of the extra deck. And so, there's still a few other mechanics in the extra deck that we've yet to show you, and I actually think they get even more generic as the mechanics evolve, so I'll be curious to see what you think about those.
Oh, I just realized the extra deck for Fusion and Synchron is just the same one. You don't.
It's all shared. It's all shared.
So that does eat into space pretty systematically. So that
absolutely. So you have 15 cards for all of the mechanics, where when there's only one, it's just the Fusion deck.
Right.
But yeah, this is one of the most contentious parts about Yu-Gi-Oh! Because fighting for slots in the extra deck is really tough sometimes. So you'll see people saying, oh, I wish the extra deck's 20 cards or 25 cards. I think it's good that it's 15. It forces people to make concessions.
I like that. Magic sideboards are 15. I think that's a great number.
So guys, that's going to wrap it up for another video. I really hope you all enjoyed. Let's go ahead and shout out the patrons for all of their continued support. So shoutouts to Shadow1317, Tim00x3, MBT Flame Dolce, Moto, Cameron L. Smith, The Synchro Guy, Pony Stark, Dan the Man Hoban, Little Fadeleaf, Draconic, Dylan Rare Hunter, JW11860, Brian Dancer, Class 7, Flannel Daddy, Twinkle Muncher, literally all of the guinea pigs, Cheeks McLaperty, Stolfin Amethyst, MBT Cancel Bio Community soon, Cancel Bio Committee soon, Cancel Bio Player soon, Wonder Waffle, Main Phase Tua, Synchro on that thing, Daniel Howell, Life Keeps Using Solemn Judgment on My Hopes and Dreams, and Naveed Mandavi. Thank you so much again for watching, and we will see you next time.
Maybe I should try running 40 size again. I'd really appreciate drawing my protection. I saw them play Bestial and the Silo Hat Trick Target continuous monster summon thing. Other than that, I have literally no idea what they could possibly be playing. They're probably gonna be using the extra deck. Sinful Spoils. Sinful Spoils Azamina. I see. I don't think Nibiru's gonna do anything here. They haven't normal summoned with... they have guaranteed extension past Nibiru, but at the same time, having Fiendsmith do its thing is gonna fucking suck, so... Yeah, they have Azamina. They play around Nib. It is why I don't like having Nib. Everyone just plays around it these days.
Big deal, of course. You can tell from the artwork already what kind of card this is, because obviously it is another Mole Charmy, and at this point they have released, or they are about to release, the third Mole Charmy in a set in a row. So every single main set for the past 3 has had a Mole Charmy in it. So they have indeed become a little bit of an archetype. That begs the question, are there going to be more, because they have been they've been switching it up with the attribute, similar to how there was a Ghost Sister, or I think there's a Ghost Sister for every attribute, right? So maybe they're going to make Mole Charmies for every attribute, right? We have Perulia for water, Uvalos for wind, And now we have Niarus, Molcharmi Niarus as an Earth monster. And this one, obviously, we don't have to read it all the way through because it works exactly like all the other Molcharmis, right? The same limitation, only one other Molcharmi effect on the turn. No cards on your field. Discard it. And now the condition on when you draw for this one is every time your opponent special summons a monster from the graveyard or the banishment, immediately draw one. And then it has the same end phase effect, which I have no idea who came up with this, but they might as well have left this one off because this one does not matter at all. We could have saved a whole bunch of text if they just left this one off. Has anyone, genuine question right now, chat, has anyone ever managed to get this effect off in the end phase? I've never seen it. I've seen it one time. That's crazy. Okay. In the OCG it can be possible. I guess in a world where there's Maxi as well. I guess. Yeah, when Maxi is in the mix, sure, okay. If you get Maxi and Fuvelost, maybe. But okay, anyways. Not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about how good this card is. Because obviously, so far, the first two Molcharmis are both very meta-relevant. Molcharmi Purulia as a side deck staple almost instantly when it came out, until this day. And Molcharmi Fuvelost is even making its way into a decent amount of main decks. Not every deck is main decking Fuvelost right now, but it is a very popular card. This one, in my opinion, since this was announced a couple days ago and I have already seen it, I've had some time to think about it. I think this card is gonna have a very hard time.
Why the fuck can I only send Blink monsters?
Simply because summoning from grave and banished is something that some decks do a lot and some decks don't do it at all, right? It's not like a Purulia where every deck normal summons, or like a Fuvelost that is also good against, like, I don't know, 80% of decks. This one is more like, I think this card is higher risk, higher reward. Like, against some matchups, this is going to be absolutely incredible, whereas against others, it's going to be completely useless, which screams side deck card to me, right? This screams like the kind of card that if there is a deck in the format that's weak to this card, you're going to put this card in your side deck, and it's going to be pretty strong, right, for those matchups. But only for going second, of course, like all the Molcharmis, which is a huge balancing factor in all of these, is that you can't just use them when you're going first against whatever, Malice. Ritual Beast is another deck that struggles under this card, even though Ritual Beast also struggles under, Ritual Beast literally gets destroyed by every single Molcharmi in existence, which is funny. Every single, because Ritual Beast just does it all, right? Summons from the extra deck 20 times, normal summons 5 times, summons from Banished Pile 20 times, they get owned by every single version of the Molcharmis. But this card is good. Long story short, this is a good card. It is, I think, out of the 3 Molcharmis that are out now, or that will be out after Supreme Darkness, I think it is the one with the least main deck potential. Simply because Purulia and Fuvelost, they have a better coverage, right? They hit more decks. But this card is still a side deck option. As soon as it releases, every single format, you're going to look at the decks in the format and you're going to ask yourself, what decks could I side this card for? And it's going to be, sometimes you're going to play it, sometimes you're not going to play it, right? There's going to be formats where the best couple decks don't play into this card, so you're not going to side deck it, and then there's going to be formats where it's really good against a couple decks and you're going to have it. Which is fine, in my opinion. Design-wise, I have no issues with this card. Even the decks, I think for the most part, you can always think of a deck that completely dies to a card. But in recent times, I can't think of many decks that really get destroyed by this, right? It's like summoning from grave and banished is something that I think most decks, they can get away with just doing this once or twice, maybe. It's really only I feel like Malice is something that I could think of that would suffer from this a lot in upcoming sets, right? Cyber's extra deck spam, right, with their Sigma, Splash Mage, Transcode Talker, that kind of stuff, the Link Decoder, that kind of, which you know my opinion about that. I'm not too mad about that one. I am not too mad about that one. No, I think this is fine. I think this card is fine. I think I am mostly interested in seeing, like, I wish we could fast forward and just see what the. I mean, I'm guessing there's going to be a fire Molcharmy, a light Molcharmy, and a dark Molcharmy, and I'm just interested in seeing what those will do, right? Because at this point, I feel like we've covered all the special summoning from anywhere, right? We have summon from hand, summon from graveyard, summon from banished, and summon from deck and extra deck. So the future Molcharmies, they would have to have something else, right? We'd have to tie it to other conditions, not just summoning, right? Like maybe every time the opponent sets, so we cover the trap decks, I guess, is something, yeah. Every time a card gets, I don't know,
Let's blind
banished,
ghost
every
sack
time a
and
card,
fuck it.
I don't know, what would happen? What else could there even be, right? Drawing from a token special summon, that would just be incredibly niche, right? Like, they could make a Molcharmy that works a little bit like. That's a little bit too powerful.
This game right now. I'd like to win honestly. I also feel like I haven't been losing honestly, but that's Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm doing my dailies after this, although realistically I'm probably just gonna be playing more card games. Chansey. We've got a Centurion fan and a Pokemon fan. Right, this is a matchup I am deeply familiar with. Both because I've fought it enough times by now and also because I'm playing it right now myself. thought I would know a thing or two about it, I'd like to think. Why are you running this? Dun, 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 dun.
You can shift right when you go second, right? Whenever your opponent adds. Right? That's technically a card that they've done before. But as a quick play spell card, which has been incredibly powerful in some formats. I don't know if that would be too much of a power creep on a card like Shared Right. Every time your opponent shuffles their hand, yeah, I mean, at some point they're gonna make a Divine Mold Charmy that's just gonna make it like every time your opponent beat this. And then they either have to pass their turn or die. Divine Mold Charmy equals Maxi, yeah. They just reprint Maxi with a different artwork. This card's fine. The Earth Mold Charmy is fine. Maxi surely gets banned, right? Look, this is the third Mold Charmy now, and we've been coping that since the first Mold Charmy. At this point, it is something that only time will tell. At this point, I mean, they put it to 2 in the OCG.
And they didn't search that trap.
We are on the journey, you know. At some point, I'm hoping it goes to 0, but we'll have to wait and see. I personally still believe in it. I do believe so. Yes, I think Maxi is gonna get banned, the OCG at some point, but it might not be. It might take a while, right? When will these come to Master Duel? I have no idea. No idea. The Master Duel release schedule is very, very loose and very much. They are not tied to any TCG or OCG releases at all. They just like decide when they want, right? Like some archetypes we get incredibly fast in Master Duel. Some archetypes we get very, very late. In the specific example of, for example, Promethean Princess, we got it in Master Duel before we got it in the TCG, right? Like it was like what, like a week or two. You know, there's no or Volcanics, yeah, Volcanics just came out in TCG and it was out in Master Duel for like 6 months or something. So it's hard to say. Whenever they feel like it.
I thought you weren't a tuner.
Right, and then I do think that whatever happens to Maxi in the OCG,
Chaos Angel doesn't require tuners.
Whatever happens to Maxi in the OCG, I think will happen to Maxi in Master.
Can't be destroyed by battle and can't be fucking.
What we're in for is that OCG and Master.
Is it worth trying? They're gonna know what I got.
But I think with Maxi they're gonna take the
on round 2. Fuck it, let's try.
Snake Eyes Diabellstar is still missing in Master Duel. Yeah, see that one? That's a decision I can get behind though. That's a decision I like because they like Snake Eyes have already been dominant enough. I feel like what they did with Snake Eye Diabellstar was just like, yeah, we could add this card, but I think Snake Eyes is already powerful enough, so we're not gonna do it. And I'll be honest with you, I wish that's what they did in the TCG as well with Snake Eyes. I wish they also went like, you know what? Maybe this Snake Eye Diabellstar card doesn't need to exist. Maybe the deck is fine. Marudras as well. They're doing the same with Yubel, yeah. They're like, I think they're purposely like not releasing Marudras while Yubel is that powerful because it's alright. I mean, Yubel is not in trouble in Master Duel. It is completely fine. It's a good deck, and it does not need Marudras in Master Duel to compete.
That was too dark, so it's only immune to battle. But I can destroy it, but... I think we go Auxilla here. Oh, right! It affects all synchros, not just... Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I'm so used to Chaos Angel being my only synchro. Oh, I'm all out of interactions. Yeah, it's fucking Jover. Maybe I should consider running Bestials in this deck.
This video was sponsored by... So last summer, around June, everyone starts talking about how there's this new game. And this game features a character who allegedly sounds an awful lot like me. Now the thing about this is that I get it a lot. I really get it a lot. The idea that there is such and such person or character or celebrity that really sounds like Arlo. Did you know you sound like this person? You know you sound like this person? Jay Baruchel. In particular, Jay Baruchel playing Hiccup in How to Train Your Dragon. I get that one a lot. That's probably the one that I get the most. I don't usually hear it when people say it. I mean, you know, it's my voice, so I'm kind of around it a lot, so it makes sense that that people other than me are the ones who are going to hear this voice and that voice and kind of put them together in their minds or whatever. But since I don't usually hear it, whenever someone makes the claim, you sound like this, they sound like you, my knee-jerk reaction is skepticism. But apparently in the case of this one particular new game, people seem to be pretty darn convinced that it sounded a whole lot like me. So I thought I would play the game in question for myself and see what I think. Let's go! So the game is called My Friendly Neighborhood, and it seems to be something of a horror, like Sesame Street kind of parody sort of thing. Sesame Street but scary, kind of the idea I'm getting here. So there's this abandoned studio
that power just came back on and it started broadcasting over regular TV. And so I am Gordon J. O'Brien, and I have to go in there and disconnect the broadcast array, and it seems I'm on probation, so if I don't do this, I will be fired. Understood, okay. Alright, loving all the little Sesame Street kind of references. 1, 2, 3. Cute. Oh, it's Rocket Poem! Is that a Fraggle Rock reference? That better be a Fraggle Rock reference. Love a horror game. It starts in the daytime. Always good. Lots of nice foreboding. Big fan of foreboding. Ooh, love that. Very, very Resident Evil. That door animation. Really nice. All appropriately eerie.
Bring me. Okay.
Raise the curtain! Bring up the lights! The neighborhood is coming to town!
Hello. I'm here to disconnect the antenna.
Television's heartbeat has returned. A spirit of cheer brightens every child's eye. The cry goes round the kindergarten class. The neighborhood!
Well, this sucks.
Okay. I'm here to disconnect the...
I am Ricky the Sock. Your television will never be the same. Wait, hold on. Did you say disconnect the antenna?
Yes.
Wow. Oh my.
Wow.
No. You mustn't do that. That would be a catastrophe. Animated, it's so
Broadcasting over the news.
The news? Nah, trust me. The antenna is just fine as it is. Doesn't need any disconnect. Tell you what, you wait here and I'll get you some fire. Woo! Well, that wasn't budget. I'm gonna take a sec. Wow.
Okay then.
Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that? I'm in a game! I'm in a game! It's real! It's real!
Fuck.
This is real! Did you see that? Did you see how it's animated? Oh. That's my voice. That's my voice. Coming with the game. Oh boy. Sorry, just give me a sec. That's... Oh. This is honestly my first time, like, really. I've like, seen little snippets here and there. This is actually, it's genuinely my first time, like, doing it for myself. Wow! The animation looked so good! They did such an amazing
Bro, it feels
job.
like everyone knows how to fight against my Drytron
Oh, it's surreal.
ruined deck right now.
It's just crazy. Okay.
What the heck?
Oh, man. Alright. I want to keep playing, but I should probably, wow. Okay. So the jig is up. The jig is up.
Pot of prosperity
let's,
and triple
talk about it.
tactics is a
So
terrible
you're
combo, it
probably
seems.
wondering what the heck took me so long to talk about this. I was in a game, and for some reason it took me a whole year to even bring it up. And I'll tell you why it took so long. Come here. Perfectionism. I kind of wanted to maintain this mystery of whether or not I was in the game for a while until I could officially make a video, address this video, the one that you're watching right now. Basically, I wanted to make this exact video, and until that point, I kind of wanted to play up the mystery. Here's the thing, though. The game comes out, and I get COVID, and then I have a surgery, and then because of the surgery, I sustain a neck injury, like, during the surgery because of how they positioned me, and then it's months of recovery, and then this whole long thing you might have heard of, trying to buy a house and move to
I'm
Washington.
going first.
This long, ongoing nightmare, and since getting here, it's still just been like it's just this thing where, like, I wanted to do it perfectly in this perfect way.
Alright, so they're
And
playing
that just
Tenpai.
made me not do it, you know? I think a lot of people can probably relate. I wanted to do it the right way, so instead I just didn't do it at all. But whatever. It's embarrassing, but here we are. I'm here a year late, more than a year late, finally talking about it. And the brief story of the way it happened, Evan Szymanski, one of the creators, came to me, told me the concept, showed me some art and stuff, and said that he had me in mind for one of the characters. So he had me audition. It was my first real official audition for any real kind of project like this, and it was really fun and surreal. And I got the part, and over the course of a few different sessions, we recorded the lines. Before we continue, a quick reminder that this video was brought to you by Sega. Sonic X Shadow Generations is a remastered and expanded version of Sonic Generations, which offers a unique blend of classic 2D Sonic and modern 3D Sonic. Updated visuals, quality of life changes, and new features make this the definitive Generations experience. That's plenty exciting all on its own, but on top of that is an entire standalone campaign starring Shadow. Running parallel to the Generations storyline, Shadow Generations sees our beloved brooding anti-hero revisiting the events of his past to stop Black Doom from conquering the world. Shadow's got access to several new Doom powers which offer new kinds of gameplay, and most importantly, look really cool. Between classic Sonic, modern Sonic, and Shadow, you're looking at loads of variety and content in one package, and a Sonic adventure for the history books. Sonic X Shadow Generations launches October 25th for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, the Epic Store, Steam, and Switch. Hit the link in the description to learn more and pick up the game for yourself. And don't forget that the Digital Deluxe Edition comes with a special Sonic 3 movie-themed level starring Keanu Reeves, dropping December 12th. Thanks again to Sega. Now back to the video. Here's a little industry inside tidbit about voice acting. It's a little known secret. You want to know something about voice acting? It's really hard. It's so much harder than you might expect. And I shouldn't have been surprised because, I mean, recording YouTube videos seems easy, right? Like, you watch the video and it's just like a person talking, and they just like talk until the video is done, and that's it. But ask just about any YouTuber, they will tell you, no, this video, every single video is heavily edited because it is surprisingly hard to get in front of a camera and say what you want to say and have it sound right and communicate everything clearly, especially if you're like reading off a script and you have to say a thing just the right way. It's just these weird mental hurdles that just don't even make sense. You can sit there and read it perfectly
Surprise,
fine
Drytron.
when the mic isn't on, and then you turn the mic on and everything changes. It does. It's really weird. And voice acting, very much the same, if not worse. And like, I do silly voices to myself all the time. I mean, like, all day, every day. It's embarrassing, really. I'm always doing silly voices, and sometimes I'm even happy with them. But yeah, like getting there, and it's live, and you're in a Discord call with the games director and the voice director, and the pressure is on you. Like, yeah, it's difficult. And like, there's this desire to just re-record every line 100 times until you're happy with each one, you know? Just do it again and again and again. Look at that one! That take right there, but like, just realistically, you can't really do it that way. And I still haven't, I haven't played through the whole game myself. I know, like, honestly, what you just saw was me playing through that part for the first time. I've seen, like, little clips, like, here and there. I've, like, tried not to pay too much attention to it. That's the thing, is when it's you and it's your voice. I mean, like, I'm only terrified. I'm only terrified of hearing myself and just, like, hoping that I did a good enough job. And I don't know, I've heard people say that I did a good job. And obviously the final product turned out really awesome. Like, yeah, I really mean it. Like, what they did with the animation, that really, like, that truly shocked me. Looks so good. But I really am scared to play more and to see more, because, like, yeah, I'm always going to be my own worst critic. I'm always going to be the one who's like, no, I could have done it better. If you had just given me 200 more takes, I would have gotten there to that place that I see it in my head. And whether or not that would have actually helped at all, I really don't know. I kind of just have to, like, let it go and let it be what it is. And like I said, people have told me that it turned out good. And I know the game overall turned out good. So there it is. I hope that whoever has played the game enjoyed my performance in the game. And yeah, it's scary. I'm my own worst critic. I'm terrified of just not doing a good job. But I mean, so much fun. Just such an overwhelming amount of fun doing this. I mean, I'm in a game. I'm in a real game. This game, it's so surreal. So surreal. Going to PAX and seeing a booth with this game in it, and I can just walk up to the game and start playing it, and suddenly this character pops up and it's got my voice. I only got to fool around with earlier versions of the game, and I think the dialogue wasn't even completely finalized. It was not animated or anything. But still, just seeing that there's a game with boots at PAX and that I'm in the game, I'm a major character in the game. Absolutely surreal. I mean, Summer Game Fest during the I think it was the PC gaming show. Hearing my voice in a trailer. I think it was in one of the sizzle reels. Hearing my voice in a trailer in an official Summer Game Fest presentation. Absolutely crazy. Just can't even believe it. And it probably goes without saying, but what an amazing first project. If any game was going to be my first game to have an actual real voice acting role, come on. Horror-themed Sesame Street kind of spoof parody? Come on! I mean, I'm a humongous fan of the Muppets and Jim Henson and everything that he did, so Sesame Street was a part of my life when I was a baby. So much of my life has been dedicated to the enjoyment and the study of these projects, and so, yeah, just My Friendly Neighborhood, the whole entire idea of it. It's like Sesame Street, but a horror spin, and I'm Ricky's the kind of the ambassador to the rest of the characters. I don't know, man. It's just surreal and amazing, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity, so thankful that Evan Szymanski, all of his everything, coming to me, offering me the audition, and working with me on all this, and being so ridiculously patient with me, even the process, even just trying to pin me down long enough to record the lines was a thing. I was getting sick over and over and over again. It's one of the reasons I had the surgery. It was a nose surgery. Whatever. Point is, he was so patient, and even in just waiting for me to do this video here, it's been super cool through the whole process. So, a million trillion thanks to Evan. And as for the game itself, My Friendly Neighborhood, I have, only heard good things about it. It's got super duper good reviews. From what little I have seen and played, got a real heavy, classic
right,
Resident
so we
Evil
missed timing.
tight survival gameplay, puzzles, that kind of stuff, all that kind of stuff that I really like. And so if you are a fan of the genre or of Sesame Street or anything like that, definitely check it out. And I mean, hey, I'd love to do more. I would really love to do more. So if you've got a game, you need some voice acting for something, I would love to make this more of a thing in my life. Absolutely. But yeah, that's it. So good. I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed by the whole thing. It's just so much fun. So cool. So cool. Yes, so jazzed to finally talk about it. Oh, it's good. Good stuff. Raise the curtain. Bring up the lights. The neighborhood is coming to town.
I can't go into what's his name anymore. All we have is Natasha's battle protection. Pretty sure we lose this.
Hey everyone, this is Manly Badass Hero. Welcome to Security, Stories by the Fans, which is a horror game where you play a security guard encountering all sorts of different horror scenarios. So back when I played that prologue demo, I mentioned that the creators were watching my comments and collecting stories by my fans, along with, I believe, some other YouTubers' videos. And this game is the culmination of a lot of those ideas.